I'm Piyush Gupta. So today I'll be talking about a very interesting story called as Parable of the Pipeline. So I read this book by Burke Hedges almost 10 years back, and since then I've read this book almost 5 to 7 times. So this is a story about two friends who had a totally different perception about making money. Notice that I said perception and both are actually right from their own mindset. Before I share this story, I would like to say that this is your and my real life story, so please listen to it very carefully. Here it goes. It's the story of two friends named Pablo and Bruno, who were staying in a small village many years back. They had no water supply for their daily needs, so the villagers decided to hire these two people to fill the well in the village. Both Pablo and Bruno got really excited as finally they got a chance to make some decent amount of income source. The villagers agreed to pay to them 1 penny for each bucket of water. So both the friends started working. After one day of work, Bruno was very excited about the possibilities as he was counting his money. But Pablo wasn't sure as his whole body was paining after the labor. So each day, Pablo and Bruno started carrying buckets of water from the top of the mountain to the bottom. They started earning some good amount of money. Bruno was happy because he wanted to buy a cow after saving money and the dream house he always wanted. While on the other hand, Pablo realized this work is stupid if he has to do it over and over again for years and years. So he started thinking how he can find out a better way to bring the water from the top of the mountain to the bottom. One day he had a sudden realization that he can build a pipeline that can connect the river at the top to the bottom of the village. He sat down and started planning how to make his dream a reality. Eventually he realized it will take a lot of work and a lot of time to build such a pipeline. He discussed with Bruno and told him that they cannot do this manual labor for years and they'll only make the money while they are young, and with each passing year it will become very difficult for them to carry buckets day after day. So we can continue carrying buckets in the day and in the evening and on weekends. We can put around almost 15 to 20 hours a week of effort and work on building the pipeline. But Bruno immediately negated the idea of building the pipeline. He told Pablo that he'll be wasting his time as nobody ever has thought about creating such a thing, and Pablo's idea was totally impractical and outrageous. But Pablo tried explaining to him that if they build the pipeline today, they won't have to carry the buckets for life and they'll continue making the money forever, even while they are not really working. But Bruno wasn't interested. He simply thought he's making good money today and he can buy everything today, so why to waste time thinking about the future? But Pablo wasn't discouraged as he believed in himself and realized he's not worth carrying those stupid buckets forever, and decided he will start working on himself. So he started working on building his pipeline. He also continued talking to villagers and daily shared his idea with someone on the benefits of building the pipeline. Almost 8 out of 10 people he talked to rejected his idea. Pretty hard rejection, no? Some told him clearly they were not interested. Some people said they would like to do research about it. And some even said they would like to think about it. But Pablo understood that these were simply polite ways of telling him no. But he was not at all discouraged. He was very persistent. He was determined. 1 to 2 people out of 10 believed in Pablo because of his rock solid belief in himself and conviction, and joined him in building his pipeline. So Pablo started leveraging his hours. Initially he was just putting in 15 to 20 hours a week and was all alone. But after a few months he had a team of almost 20 to 30 people. But the rest of the villagers made fun of all of them, saying that such things won't work. But Pablo and his team simply ignored all of them, as they were focused on their vision of creating an ongoing income that they will make one day once the pipeline will be ready. Pablo was actually very smart. He understood the power of leverage. He understood that by just carrying buckets, he will only make income for the hours he's putting in. If he'll put the time today, he will make the money. Again, if he'll put the time today, he will make the money. But if he stop putting in the time today, he will stop making the money. But by leverage, if he has a team of 20 people, each putting in just 10 hours each, he still gets a productivity of 20 people multiplied by 10, which is almost 200 hours a week. So he simply smiled and said, how does it matter if Bruno and other villagers doesn't really understand the power of leverage and the power of building networks? So after 2 to 3 years of sheer hard work and effort, Pablo had a team of around 50 people. Together they built the pipeline, and with leverage, Pablo was able to make money out of 50 people's worth of effort. Fantastic, right? Okay. So what he did was they all started making a very healthy ongoing income that doesn't even require when they are actually not around. Whenever the water flowed through that pipeline, they all started making the money, even while they were sleeping. Pretty fantastic, right? But what about Bruno? Kya hua Bruno ka? He was really tired after carrying buckets day after day for years. He was no longer excited and passionate, as his body was really not that strong anymore, and eventually he lost his job. Why? After the pipeline is completed. That's it about this story, my friends. I want you to ask yourself, am I just a bucket carrier or a pipeline builder? In fact, a lot of us are like Brunos who grew up with this mindset of study hard, get a good job, life would be set. But if we really were to ask ourselves, is our life really set? The answer is a big fat no. A lot of us just trade our time to make the money. We simply want to live in the present and totally ignore what can happen in the future. With every passing year, our energy levels will dip and we won't be able to work as hard as we can do today. Moreover, with rising inflation, we all need a second source of income. But not just another source of income, but ongoing or passive source of income, like Pablo was making. Today, 90% of us are spending almost 30 to 50% of our salary in EMIs, and after the non-negotiable expenses, we are barely left with pennies to save. Yes, pennies. So when I heard this story for the first time, my biggest lesson was dig the well before you are thirsty, because by the time we are thirsty, we won't get the time to dig the well only. So times have changed, my friends. And with changing times, we all need to change, or else we will be left behind. In lockdown, every single day, I saw people posting on LinkedIn that they lost their jobs and looking for a new job. But my question to them is, does getting a new job is actually going to solve your problem? The answer is definitely not. It will solve, but only temporarily. The biggest problem is our job mindset. Since childhood, we are taught that we should study hard, we should get a job, and life is set. Most of the times, we are not taught about building assets and how to do leverage. And lastly, we don't have to spend 40 to 50 years to build wealth. By doing some smart work, what Pablo did, it can be contracted into a 5-year pipeline plan. Yes, it is possible. But we will need step-by-step guidance and support. It's not our fault that if we are born poor, but if we are struggling financially and not ready to do anything simply because we are not ready to leave our comfort zone, that is definitely our fault. In fact, it's a big crime. Hope you have liked this story. Please like this video if you really liked it, if you learned something from it, and share this video if you really want to help others. And if you're the kind of person who likes the idea of creating a pipeline and want a step-by-step guidance and support, feel free to DM me. I'll be ready to help. Have a good day, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.